Yeah, I think it bears repeating. An excellent job of the host team for a lot of different reasons. I'm sure all the regionals are wild. This is the only one I'm a part of, but that's how it is this time of year. So a lot of unexpected things, but I think for our guys, their confidence has been growing as the year went on. So I know they believed in themselves, even though we were coming to a national seed site in a place that's always rowdy to play in, no matter who the opponent is. So again, grateful to be around good players that make you look smart. But more than anything, I'm kind of enjoying the process. And, KP was mentioning it after the game on the ESPN interview, just the process of the team kind of increasingly improving in areas as the year goes on. That's what it's all about.
All right, let's start here in the second row on the right.
Sure, it looked like your two-strike breaking ball was working for you today. What felt good for you during your outing?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely the curveball was definitely the main pitch that I had going today. I played it well off the fastball. I feel like we had a good game plan. Trusted what Coach A had for us when we came into it, and so just really went with what he had for me.
All right, let's go here in the front row.
Christian, y'all's pitching depth was really spectacular this weekend. I'm curious, what was it like in the fall and preseason and scrimmages and just the number of good pitchers you have to face?
It wasn't fun. I'll tell you that right now. But in the fall, man, like I said, these guys prepared us for kind of what we're facing right now. Facing them in the fall, facing Beam, Doe, Burns, Halvey, you can go on, the list continues. But, yeah, I mean, they definitely prepared us for situations like this. Going in there with runners on base, you're probably going to get a slider sometimes. And I've seen some of the best sliders just from our staff in the fall and kind of early season. So.
All right, let's stay on the front row here.
For Tony and Christian, or Charlotte's coach said that it looked like Christian had the cheat code on for a video game this weekend. What was it like for you to watch them this weekend, Tony, and Christian? What was working so well for you these 3 games?
I think I'm live here, my man. So I'll go first and speak for you a little bit from my perspective. I mentioned it last night. Talk about Clemson's win streak. You can achieve great things and you can have outlying statistics, but at the same time, we are playing a game of so many repetitions, and the guy's too good of a player. You're going to get explosive moments, and there'll be some challenges too, and then there'll be some things in the middle as well. So I just think it's a case of a really good player doing what he's capable of. But to me, I'm a believer in things start before they started. And last night, it was interesting kind of watching the guys celebrate post-game. You're taking in a little bit of it. And there was one guy that was more about today than they were last night. And I'm sure maybe there was one or two others, but the one that stuck out to me was the one to the right of me. And I think if you want to be good at something or have something good happen, you're going to need to put in something, even if it's just some thoughts mentally ahead of time for that to go that way.
I think for me, I wouldn't say I had any, video game numbers, whatever. It was a good weekend, but at the end of the day, all I want to do now is just win each and every day, just survive in advance. I think I can go along from every guy that's out there. So whether that's I go 2 for 2, whatever, with some home runs, or I go 4 for 4 Ks, whatever I can do to help this team win. Because we're in the postseason now. You win, you advance, you lose, you go home. So just keep winning. That's kind of my mindset going in this weekend and weekends we have the weekend we have next weekend.
All right, let's stay on the front row right here.
Yeah, Christian, what was your favorite swing or best swing maybe this weekend, and also what was it like having your dad and uncle here to see you play?
Best swing, honestly, I'll go the double down the line last night, only because I thought that was kind of like stay inside the ball, inside fastball. It was just kind of cool to keep my hands tucked in and hit that ball down the line. And we practiced it also all the time, first base, third base screen, so it was cool to do it. And having them here, man, it was just a surreal moment. Like my dad, he works hard. He's finally retired, so he kind of got to see me play my first college games. Because last year when he came down, he came beginning of the season, and I think I got about 2 or 3 at bats. But no, it's good to have him here, man. I'm so happy he got to come down and experience this with me.
All right, let's go to the young lady in the camera.
We've been talking about the
You wanted to borrow you wanted to hold your microphone as well?
Oh yeah, Coach. Kind of the storyline has been struggles on the road this year. I know you said you put it together at South Carolina. Now to punch your ticket on the road, the first time in program history, winning a regional on the road. Just what does that mean?
Yeah, it's huge. So go back to Christian's dad. I passed him on the way up here, and he said he's a better player than you. So you may want to take away some of those positive sentiments. But the positive sentiments for this crew are just figure different things out. Who can finish a game for us out of the bullpen? Who can do a variety of things? Who can get a bunt down for us? Our best guy did it twice last night. And so one of those things is, what is the best version of our group on the road? And to be honest with you, we don't do anything to coach it, but it's been one of our strong points, even starting with our first year since we got to Knoxville. But for this group, everything starting back in August, where things were kind of awkward and it was like, where's this going? It's truly been the cliche of a journey. And I think it's still moving forward, and there's still some things that can get figured out. And even if they don't, as Christian mentioned, this time of year, it's just find a way to get it done.
All right, let's go to the second row here on the right.
Sure, a couple questions. I guess first off, at what point did you realize the breaking ball was going to be as sharp as it was today? Is that something bullpen pregame or the first inning you figured out? Because it seemed like in the first inning it was right there.
Yeah, felt really good in the bullpen. Obviously, went out in the first inning, tried to mix in a few cutters there, a few changeups, and the curveball was the one that prominently felt the best today. Still throughout the game, mixed in some other pitches, but it was the one that was feeling good. It was the one that was getting good results, so I just kind of stuck with it that way.
And last night, with as wild as that game was, I mean, what's going through your head? Because I know no matter what happens, you got to kind of flush it as a team and move forward. But you know, like, am I pitching at 3, am I pitching at 6? Like, I got to try to get to sleep and get ready. I mean, what's going through your head last night?
Last night, my main goal was just being a good teammate, hoping that we win, trying to give my vocal what I can on the bench. Not really trying to think too much about the next day until the next day was here. Just take it one step at a time. Then once the game was over, just trying not to have that big game hangover. Just get to sleep, get my mind right. It was good that we won, but I had to get to my next task.
Stay on the front row here.
Tony, you guys now are in the mix of versus Super Regional. Do you think you guys should have that host, and what's the case, I guess, you would make toward that?
Yeah, I think the case is the way the city has handled it in the past. Obviously, it's of good size and has handled many events. I mean, heck, the events we get to go to in that arena itself. But then also, what these guys have done on the field, competing in our league. And, I don't know what you all were saying because I don't read too much of it going into that game at Hoover, but I'd like to think if we win that game at Hoover, we're in the conversation for hosting one of these deals ourselves. So one of those things that's out of our control. I think we've kind of grown as a program, learning different things, and control what you can and don't worry about what you can. So I don't know where they'll send us if we're playing on our field, which I do think we're deserving of, but I know our fans will follow. Coach Bakich made a great comment before the game last night about how our fans travel, and cautious to not take that for granted because it's kind of become the norm even for just your average game or a fall game even, but it helps these guys, and it makes it more fun regardless of how the outcome turns out.
Let's stay on the front row here.
Tony, this ballpark can play pretty offensive. You limited Clemson and Charlotte to 8 runs on the weekend. Just what about the pitching and going from man to man to man?
Yeah, I think, we're blessed with what we have. I mean, I mentioned something about Coach Anderson to Chris Burke, and he said it kind of helps, with a wink. He said it kind of helps when you got some dudes. And, it's a different stable of arms you got down there. There's no question. That's why Simo said it was tough to face those guys. But I think he keeps it overly simple, and yet he's even said it before. He doesn't really have any rhyme or reason why he's had success as a pitching coach or why he can help guys, but there's no question he does. And unfortunately, being his coworker means someone's going to try and take him away from you every summer, including teams in the league. But loyalty is a big thing for our group. And it's been pretty cool how we've been able to keep the whole staff together, including Coach Elander, who I thought did some things in tight games. Today didn't end up that tight, but did some things tonight and last night that helped give us an edge as well. So it's fun to come to work.
Let's go right here on the front row.
Tony, third straight Super Regional, and the past 2 were a little more smooth of a ride than this year's ride to a Super Regional. Does that make this one a little more rewarding? And is there any extra thoughts and emotions going into this one?
I think once it starts, it's a series. It's an SEC type series, and I don't mean to discredit any. I don't even know who the options are as far as playing, but at this point, you're going to play a really good team, and it's going to be really competitive. And so when it starts, you're just trying to win a series. But if you're talking about tonight, when these guys go back to the hotel and tomorrow bus ride back, it needs to be enjoyed more because it was challenging. We've said that in team meetings, that when things are difficult and you got to really work for something, it makes it sweeter. And then I also think it kind of prepares you a little bit better. That doesn't mean if you could pick any one team, they got an edge and the scoreboard's going to say 1-0 when it starts. But I do think because of some of the obstacles these guys have had to climb over, go around, go through, it's made them stronger. And I think we're still getting stronger.
All right, let's go to the second row here.
Christian, it was such an emotional win last night for you guys. It took a while, obviously. How did you guys handle the day today? Was it hard not to try to get back out there and play immediately, or did you welcome the rest?
I think the rest was huge for us. I mean, you play 14 innings, back and forth game like that. You know, you need a little time off to, you know, get your thoughts back, get your body right. So the rest was definitely crucial, but we wanted to play. I mean, you come in here on the road and you knock off the host team. Like you want to go back out there and compete. So I'll say a little bit of both. You know, we needed the rest, but we also were ready to compete today at 6.
Front row.
Tony, kind of similar question, but Drew used the term big game hangover. How were y'all able to avoid that?
You know, I don't know. I mean, as coaches, you don't go to sleep because you're kind of running things through your mind, and then you're trying to get ready for the next day. And then I don't want to admit it, but I guess as you get older, you kind of wake up, you know, not on the alarm clock, but just when you're used to waking up. So it's a pretty short night for us, but I think these guys threw so much into it. You're gassed out, and, you know, they probably needed a little bit of recovery. And I was trying to get you know, have a thermostat out and see how these guys were in the cage and at the field. And I think they were incredibly confident. And we knew we were playing a dangerous opponent. And there's a lot of things at stake, but I thought it was pretty cool how even-keeled they were and how confident they were.
Anything further? Coach,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you don't, I'd be remiss. You know, if I was good at making opening statements, I would have applauded the competition. It's nice when you play faceless opponents, or maybe sometimes it maybe even makes it fun if for some reason you don't like each other. But we know the Lipscomb guys well; they're class acts, and they had a great season. And then, of course, this is just, you know, with Cam Fisher, and we had to get past the Lindsey thing, and Cam Hansen fortunately didn't pitch against us. And then Austin Knight, a guy that, I mean, he was incredible in the dugout for us and always had ability to, and now he's showing off at Charlotte. It's hard, but it's nice to see those guys. And then I think Clemson put together a miraculous season that's gonna keep going forward under the guy they got. And I'm kind of jealous of him, to be honest with you. This was where he started, and to get to come back is a pretty cool thing and a very wise move to have Coach Leggett around too. So these guys need to enjoy tonight because 3 class teams and 3 good teams, but we were able to win the 4-team tournament.
All right, anything else? Thank you, guys.